Hello, beautiful people. So if you know me, I don't know what I start with on. If you don't know me, welcome. If you do know me, welcome. My name is Maggie, and many of you know me as Maggie Moon. And a little bird told me the other day that I should start posting more YouTube videos, longer form content. And I said, why not? I have a lot to say. So today we're going to talk about the soul. We're going to talk about the soul contracts. We are going to talk about reincarnation, incarnation, and we're going to go deep into your soul, deep into why you are here, into your karma, and what this all means for you, and how to really work with it as well. So first and foremost, I am a hypnotherapist. I am an energy master. I don't even like that term. And I work closely with soul fragments. And I work a lot with past lives. So this is where I have learned a lot about our soul and the journey of being human. So I want to preface with the fact that, first and foremost, physics proves this, that time is truly just a construct, and that there are multiple timelines happening simultaneously. And you can look this up through quantum physics. And so the past isn't really the past, but all we do have is the present. And through the present moment, we can access many different timelines. And through our consciousness, specifically our superconsciousness, we can access the different past and future versions of us, which is really, really cool when it comes to growth, when it comes to learning, because why we are here on this earth plane in the first place is to learn. And so basically, our souls all come from a similar place. If you want to go really deep into it, some of us come from different stars, stargates, planets, whatever you want to call it. But to keep it simple, we all come from this source, the source of all there is, the creator, the oneness. And that is where our souls come from. And so we actually spend more time in that place of oneness than we do on the earth. Our time on this earth is fleeting, and it is but a blip in time. We are what they call just a speck of dust. But that doesn't take away from how important it is for our soul to evolve while we are here on this earth. So, with that being said, when we are in the place of oneness, I'll just call it that. Some call it heaven, some call it the waiting place, some call it, being one with source. And it's basically the space in between our life, the space in between our past incarnation and our current incarnation. And this is where we spend time with our soul families, the people that we deeply, deeply love and cherish, that we have been through many lifetimes together in the past and in the future. And in that place, we do a lot of reflection. We do a lot of learning. We get to basically take an overview of our past lifetimes that we have lived through to learn from them. And so I want you to imagine that it's this beautiful, just place of home, a place of true oneness where we are not a physical form, but we are just a soul. And there's only love. There is only a feeling of wholeness there. And when we are in that place, we are also learning from our past mistakes, our past karma. And Christianity may call it, the original sin. Others will call it karma. And basically, it's the human error and ego that happens throughout our lifetimes. So in one lifetime, maybe you were a warrior and you killed a lot of people, but in your mind it was justified. And while you're in that oneness place with the Creator, you recognize, oh, actually, all of life needs to be revered and loved. And so then in your next incarnation, your soul decides that I want to learn how to love everyone. And you basically have this soul decision, soul contract, whatever you want to call it, that in your next lifetime you are going to learn how to love everyone. And that may sound really nice and like rainbows and butterflies, but that means that your soul is signing up for a very big mission. And it could look like learning how to love someone who accidentally killed your child in a drunk driving accident. And so I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but basically our soul chooses what we experience in our lifetime. And that may be really hard to wrap your mind around if you've been through a lot of hardship or you've been a victim of abuse or, trauma. And at the same time, I hope that it can eventually bring you peace in knowing that what you have gone through wasn't for no reason, and that everything that we go through in our life has a connection to our soul's karma. And it doesn't mean that we need to blame ourselves and say, oh, we deserve to experience that because we were a bad person in a past life. No, it means that we get to transmute what we have gone through in this life so that we can overcome it and don't have to relive it in our next life. And touching on, heaven and hell. Basically, hell is a construct that is mentally made. And yes, there is a dark side. Yes, there are souls and beings that are looking for the ruin of our soul. But that's a whole other topic. And hell is truly when we relive a life over and over from a place of not learning what our soul has come to learn. It's not what happens in the afterlife, or it could be, because where we go in that oneness, in the in-between, when our soul is with the Creator, basically our frequency, our what we have or have not learned from is what we experience then in that oneness. And so if we, say we were that warrior and we killed a lot of people and we're unwilling to learn from it, we're unwilling to see that maybe there's a different way, that maybe coming back to love is actually what our soul is here to do, then you will continue to create that over and over and over, and that will cause this compounding effect of karma. And sticking with karma for a moment, our flesh, like our beingness, what we are going through in this lifetime is truly to work through that karma. And sometimes the hard thing is that it's not even our karma. Sometimes it's our ancestors. Sometimes it's our parents. And we literally, when we are birthed into this world, we take a piece of both of our parents' karma with us. And so oftentimes the things that we find hardest to overcome, whether it's addictions or it's patterns or beliefs, those things are oftentimes from our parents, right? Because from the age of 0 to 7, that's when we're learning everything. That's when our subconscious beliefs are deeply formed. And basically, whether you want to imagine it as this soul karma that is coming through from not only our past lives, but then our parents and our ancestors, or it's just what we have taken in from our environment, I think it's a bit of both, right? And I don't want that to scare you or you to think like, oh my gosh, like what kind of karma do I need to work through? But I want you to see it as something that can actually be a game, and that this school of life can be something that instead of us seeing it as, this is what we have been diagnosed with, or this is what had the burdens we have to carry from our ancestors. It's like, oh, beautiful. Like, I get to be the one to transmute this for my parents. I get to be the one to heal this for my ancestors so that I don't have to pass it on to my children. And when you start to see these challenges, these patterns, these beliefs, these, addictions as karmic things that we have come and reincarnated to overcome, then it starts to be a bit more like life can be like a game. And we can actually enjoy when those old patterns come up and say, yes, I see you for what you are. I'm not going to try to repress you or hate you or resent you, but I'm here to welcome this karmic pattern. I'm here to say, I see you and I understand. And I actually don't have to let you take control over me. And one of my mentors, he says, whenever one of these lower self patterns comes up, saying, what a pleasure, and not trying to fight it, but saying, okay, I'm judging this other person. That means I'm probably judging myself. What a pleasure. This is an opportunity for me to change the way I'm speaking to myself and thinking about others. And it starts to shift of, oh, this is who I am, I'm a bad person, to, no, it's just these are things that every human goes through. I'm not alone in this. And I get to see this as my opportunity to expand, my opportunity to come back to love, to come back to the truth of who I really am, beneath the ego, beneath the karma, beneath the masks. And from this place, when we get to really reclaim who we are from a place of love and acceptance of literally our soul and everything that we have been through, the challenges, the hardship, the pain, the grief, the loss, even the things that you didn't deserve to experience, when they no longer have power over you and you recognize that for some reason that is what your soul chose to go through so that you can learn, you start to free yourself of the past. You get to be even more present with who you are today. You get to maybe even feel grateful for the things that you have walked through. For example, I won't go too much into my past because, again, it's actually not super helpful to talk a lot about our past, because it's like we're literally reliving those things and we're giving power to them. But I will say this, what I walked through in my childhood, I wouldn't wish upon anyone else. Yet, right now in this moment and for many years, I have felt so much deep gratitude for what I have walked through, because I wouldn't be who I am today. The pain, the fear, all of that has shaped me and my soul so that I can help others, so that I can be more empathetic, so that I can be more sensitive and tapped in. And when you start to reframe what you have been through and see it as maybe even the greatest gift, that is when you become sovereign. That is when your soul starts to recognize that nothing has ever been done to me that I haven't soul-led myself through. And that is when we come into soul alignment. And that is when these beautiful opportunities flow to us, because we are no longer resisting, we are no longer holding onto the past, we are no longer living from a place of pain. We're no longer living from our karma. We are living from our soul. And our soul is the highest evolution of who we are. It's that higher self. It's that, that guide. Our soul is our guide. And you can tap into your soul, your higher self, at any time. Because truly, whatever you want to call it, whether it's spirit, whether it's God, whether it's universe, whether it's your higher self, it's all the same. And when you ask it to show you what is for your highest good, oftentimes it might be things that you have shied away from, things that feel uncomfortable. because soul growth doesn't happen through comfort. The world would, be an oasis, and it would be perfect if we all could grow without darkness and pain. And so remembering that as well, like everything that you have ever walked through, the challenges that you have gone through, are exactly what you needed to grow. And then life doesn't seem so bad. It doesn't seem so hard, right? Because it's like no longer you are controlled by this happened to me, but I am choosing to see that this is happening for me and for my soul. So that is a bit of my theories on the soul and our karma and the journey of our soul. And I truly believe that the more that we can accept who we are, where we are, and what our soul is here to do in this lifetime, the more we can step into the most expanded, most loving, most alive and inspired versions of ourselves. So if this resonates with you, I would love for you to comment below. You can find me on Instagram at Maggie Moon with 3 O's. And I just want you all to know that your soul is the source of your power. And there is always answers waiting for you to tap into when you come home to yourself. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah.